Worldwide School, and I'd like to welcome you all to this new webinar on vocabulary. First of all, I wanted to thank you for choosing this time to be here and learn something new. I hope something new about confusing words in English. And the second thing, there's a little request I've got for you. Could you please have a look at the bottom right corner of the screen? This is where the chat window is. You'll be using the chat for communication with me during the webinar. I'll be having some questions, definitely, for you. So could you just let me know if you can hear me? Okay, could you just say something like, "Hi, Piotr, we can hear you, I can hear you, everything's fine." It's in the bottom right corner. Yes, thank you very much, Pavel. Okay, so we can get going. Excellent. So, hello again. This is Piotr Święcicki from Worldwide School. And you're probably looking at the screen thinking, what is this image doing here? Confusing what? Confusing, what are these two objects? Anyone? Can we try the chat again? What can you see here? What kind of fruit can you see here? Is it an apple? Or maybe it's a banana? Aha, it's a pear. Actually, these are two pears. Right, confusing pears. This is almost the title of this session. Confusing pears. Confusing pears. We'll be talking about words. Maybe not just like these two words, pairs and pairs, which have, these ones have very similar sound, the same pronunciation actually, pairs and pairs. We'll be talking about different words. You probably saw some examples in the text you received from Worldwide School. Words which look almost the same, but have completely different meaning. So we'll have a look at 19 examples of such pairs. There's going to be a triplet on the list as well. So hopefully by the end of this session, you will have learned something like 40 new vocabulary items, or you will have reminded yourselves of some interesting words. Do you need to take some notes? Yeah, why not? Good idea. But this session is recorded, so you'll be able to watch it again. And we'll also create a PDF with all the most important slides from here. So you can take notes, but you don't have to. What you have to do is to be active. I'll be asking you questions. So let's get going. And this is the first pair. We have these two words, economic and economical. Okay, before I tell you what they mean, think about it. Do you know the difference? Because in Polish, the translation of the Polish version is just the same. Ekonomiczne, ekonomiczne, right? So what's the difference between economic and economical? Let me show you. Economic is an adjective that refers to anything related to the economy, such as financial systems, resources, and trade. It is often used to describe the distribution, production, and consumption of goods and services in a particular society. That's economic, right? Two examples. The government is implementing new economic policies to stimulate job creation. Aha. The company's success is due to its ability to adapt to changing economic conditions. So that's economic. What about economical? Any ideas? If this is economic, then what is economical? Okay, that's the answer. Economical is an adjective that refers to using resources in a prudent and efficient manner. So you save something, right? Often to save money and other valuable resources. So buying an electric car is more economical in the long run because it saves on fuel costs, right? Is this true? Is it not? Well, opinions vary, but there's a general opinion that electric cars are more economical. Turning off the lights when you leave the room is an economical way to reduce your electricity bills. Very good tips, don't you think, in today's circumstances? Yeah. Are you economical in these respects? So that's the difference, right? Economical, you save resources. There's a nice way to remember what the difference is. Economical finishes with the word al, right? Just like a name of someone, like Al Pacino. Yeah. I'm not sure if Al Pacino is economical, but he may be, right? So if this is the way you can remember the difference, right? A person is economical, just like the name Al, and economic relates to, the country's economy, I guess. Two very closely related words are economics and economy. So we had economic and economical, and now it's economics and economy. What is the difference? So economics refers to the social science that studies the production, consumption, and distribution of goods and services in a society. It is concerned with understanding how people make choices and how markets operate. Two examples. The government is seeking advice from economic experts to help formulate its policies. He wrote a book about the history of economics and the evolution of economic thought. So economics, right? Economics as the science. So economics is the science. And economy refers to the system by which goods and services are produced, distributed, and consumed in society. It can also refer to the financial system of a country or region. The government is implementing measures to boost the local economy and create jobs. He works in the finance sector and closely follows the trends of the global economy. So could we say that economy is gospodarka and economics is ekonomia, is the science, right? So that's the difference. Now that you know, we can move on. So we started with economic and economical, right? What about these two? Classic and classical. Classic and classical. Klasyczne, klasyczne. This is not helping you. Translation here, right? So what does classic mean? Classic is an adjective that describes something that is widely acknowledged and accepted as an example of outstanding quality or typical of a particular style of era. It can also refer to something that is traditional or timeless. Examples. The little black dress is a classic piece of fashion. Yes, a classic piece of fashion of the 60s. Yeah. The novel To Kill a Mockingbird is a classic of American literature. So something we would call in Polish klasyczny przykład, right? That's classic. What about classical? You may have heard this. Classical is an adjective that refers to something that is related to the ancient Greek and Roman cultures, or to something that is a part of the traditions of the Western art music. Classical music, yeah, classical architecture. It can also refer to something that is characterized by a highly formal, elegant, or refined style. So Mozart's music is a prime example of classical music. Or the architecture of the White House is classical in style, or neoclassical. Economic, economical, classic, classical. What about electric and electrical? Let's see. Electric. An adjective which refers to something that is powered by electricity, of course, and produces electricity, or produces electricity. It also refers to something that is related to the phenomenon of electricity and has a strong or exciting effect. So a few meanings here. She received an electric shock, so powered by electricity, yes. When she touched that wire, the live wire, pod napięciem, right, live wire, the atmosphere in the room was electric with anticipation. So it can be metaphorical, electric with anticipation, atmosphere, or something is electric, powered by electricity. Okay, so what about electrical? Electrical, on the other hand, is an adjective that refers to something that is related to electricity, its properties, or its applications. Isn't that the same? Well, not exactly. It can also refer to something that is related to the use of generation or generation of electricity. So have a look at the examples. I think they are better than the actual definition. The electrical engineer designed the circuit for the new electronic device. So electrical, referring to the science, right? The electrical system in the building was damaged in the storm. The electrical system, not electric system, yes? Electric shock versus electrical system. So electrical related to electricity and its properties, and electric powered by electricity, yes? Electrical engine or electric engine? The second, electric, right? Because it's powered by electricity. Okay, that's a little bit confusing, but there's also electronic and electronical. That's the same. Historic and historical. What's the difference here? Do you know? Are you confused? You won't be in a moment. Historic is an adjective that describes something that is famous, important, or significant in history. Okay? Famous, important, or significant in history. It can also refer to something that is related or having to do with a particular period of history. That's historic. Two examples. The historic district of the city is full of charming old buildings. The historic district. Historyczny, right? Historyczna dzielnica. The historic artifacts in the museum date back to the 18th century. That's historic. A historic place, a historic object, a historic monument. So what about historical? Historical, and don't get hysterical about it, is an adjective that refers to something that is related to or concerned with history as an academic or scholarly discipline. Science. Some people wouldn't call it science, but let's call it science. It can also refer to something that is based on or derived from the past. So the historical record shows that the battle took place in 1066. The Battle of Hastings, William the Conqueror versus versus, I forgot the English king. Maybe you remember. Never mind. We're not talking about the history of Great Britain. But that's embarrassing that I forgot the name of the Anglo-Saxon king. Never mind. The Battle of Hastings, 1066. Maybe you know. Can you remind me? It was a historic battle, important in history. Yes, but here we have historical records. So some documents. Someone's typing. What was the name of the English king? The Anglo-Saxon king. Do you know? And the historical context of the novel is the Victorian era. So, yeah, I wish I could look it up, but I have to be with you, and not on Wikipedia. Can you see the difference? Historical related to science. So historical records, historical books, not historic books. Although this is possible. For example, the book by Copernicus is a historic monument, right? Wilhelm and Harald II. Thank you. I knew I could count on you. Time for an exercise. Don't worry, nothing difficult. Just a reminder, actually. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you again. Harald II. It's, by the way, it was a very important battle. One of the most important battles in the history in the history in general. It marked the end of Old English as a language, right? The Viking/French people conquered Britain, and they said, from now on, French is the official language. So this is when English became simplified. So maybe that's something good for us. But on the other hand, the Viking/French kings brought with them French vocabulary. So this is one of the reasons why in English there are so many words for one thing, like, for example, book and reserve, because the English became the language, of the street, let's say, right? Colloquial everyday language, that was English or Old English, and French became the formal language. So this is why we say book and reserve. Book, Anglo-Saxon, Old English, right, and reserve. So if you're having a conversation with a friend, you don't say, "Hey, I'm gonna reserve a table for us." No, you say book a table. Colloquial language. And when you go to a restaurant, you say, "Oh, I'd like to reserve this table." Right? Formal, informal. But that's a different story. Time for an exercise. What do you choose here? Economic or economical? Now, get your fingers ready and please type. You can type number 1 and the answer, number 2, the answer. Okay. The growth of the country has slowed down in the last year. She's a very cook. So one of them is careful with money. The other one is related to, kind of the country. And I'm not sure if this is correct, Alexandra. The opposite, exactly. Don't worry, we're just learning. The economic growth, it's like the World Economic Forum, right? Not Economical Forum, the World Economic Forum. And I'm very economical with, I don't know, words or money, yeah? And she's a very economical cook. Okay, economy versus economics. What do you think? Use the chat. She's studying economy at university or economics at university? Or the country's economics or economy is heavily reliant on experts of natural resources. Economics. Yes, this time it's good, Alexandra. Yeah. Very good. She's studying economics, and the country's economy is reliant on natural resources. Great. Classical. The Beatles album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, is example of rock and roll. It's even more than that. It's one of the best, which means this. The sentence means this, right? If you haven't heard it, you have to. It's a must. And the Greek sculptures are renowned for their beauty and realism. Classic and yeah, it's a classic. It's a classic example of great music. Or this is a classic mistake, not a classical mistake, right? Okay, I think you get it, right? Good. Electric versus electrical. So Jimi Hendrix played the electrical guitar or electric guitar. What do you think? Electric or electrical? And the power plant generates electric energy or electrical energy? Electric and electrical. Okay. Now, two Alexandras. Unless there's only one and this person is logged in twice. I don't know. But good. And I'd like to encourage others to contribute to the chat. And finally, historic and historical. What do you think? The fall of the Berlin Wall was a historical event or historic event? And the historic or historical research for the paper involved examining primary sources and archives. Very good, Robert. Historic and historical, a historic event and historical research. Historical, you can imagine a guy called Al, right? Who is a historian, and he deals with historical research papers, for example. Good. Congrats, you passed. Let's move on to a next batch of words. This time we have 3. Lie, lie, and lay. Do you remember the difference? Since you understand me, your English is probably higher than A2, so you must have seen these words, lie, lie, and lay. How to use them, what the differences are. Let me remind you. Lie means to recline in a horizontal position, or to remain or stay in a particular place or position. It does not require a direct object, so you can just lie somewhere. The park lies just beyond the river, about a mile away. Or the book has been lying on the desk for weeks untouched. Or just lie down. Please lie down. Yeah, that's lie. The past forms are lie, lay, and lain. Okay, what about lie? The second lie. The second lie is, I'm not lying to you. This is true. All this is true. Well, it refers to intentionally giving false information, which is different from the meaning of reclining and staying, blah, blah, blah. In this sense, lie is a verb that means to intentionally say something which is not true. And the past forms are lied, lied. It's regular. He lied to his boss about finishing the project on time. They caught him lying on the witness stand during the trial. So lie. What's the difference? The pronunciation is the same. Past forms. Aha. Okay. And the rest is the context, right? What about lay? Which is somehow related to the first lie. Lay means to put or place something down, usually in a horizontal position. And this one requires an object. And the past forms are lay, laid, laid. So he will lay the book on the table and come back. So just, lay. Lay something down. Or she laid the baby gently in the crib and covered him with a blanket. So, and the baby was lying because she laid the baby there, right? Can you see it? That's easy. Okay. Lose and lose. Lose, that's important. Pronunciation. Lose and lose. Of course, the spelling is different. So what's loose? Loose is an adjective, and it means not tight or fixed in place or free from constraint or confinement. The dog ran loose in the park, chasing after squirrels. She let her hair down and allowed it to hang loose around her shoulders, right? Or a loose screw. Yeah, this screw is loose. Please tighten it. The other one is lose. Lose, right? And it's not an adjective, it's a verb, which means to be deprived of something, unable to find, to locate something. It can also mean to fail, win, or be defeated. Like Harald II lost the battle, right? We can't afford to lose any more customers. We need to improve our service. Lose customers, the team will lose the game if they don't score enough points or another goal soon, whatever. Okay, lose and lose. That's a classic example, isn't it? So let's take a look at this one. Another classic example, slightly more difficult. Rise. Okay, rise and raise. So what's the difference? Let's see. Rise is an intransitive verb, nieprzechodni. That means to move upward or to increase in level, amount, or value without any direct action from someone or something. Without any direct action. It can also refer to the appearance of the sun or moon over the horizon. Okay, the sun rises, like the classic novel and one of the best novels by Ernest Hemingway. The sun also rises on its own, right? Rise. So, rise, rose, risen, past forms. The price of gas has risen significantly in the past few months. Okay, let's not talk about why it happened, right? There was definitely some reasons behind it, but prices just rise. The sun rises. Okay, what about raise? Raise is different because it's transitive and it means to lift or elevate something, right, to a higher position. So it requires someone to do this. So she raised her hand. This is regular, right? She raised her hand to ask a question. Raise, not rise, not she rose her hand, but she raised her hand. The new policy aims to raise awareness about climate change. Raise awareness. So the National Bank of Poland rose or raised? Raised the interest rate levels, yeah, or whatever, right? Okay, so that's it. Questions? I have questions for you. You have to be now focused. So what's the first one? What do you choose here? I shut up, you think. And type. You think and type. Think and type. Think and type. She likes to... Okay. Okay, Agnieszka. Ola? I'm not sure. Agata? Okay. Yeah. Remember that lay requires something or someone. There must be an object. Yeah. For example, lay the bed. Posłać łóżko, right? Lay the bed, like, or lay the table. Nakryć dostał. So you have a tablecloth and you know. She likes to lie in bed and read on Sunday mornings. She lied about her age to get into the club, and they are going to lay the new carpet in the living room tomorrow. Just lay the carpet. Can you say it now? Have you made a mistake? That's excellent, because you've just learned something. So congratulations to those of you who made mistakes. Those who were correct, well, what can I say? You were correct. I hope you make a mistake next time. Lose and lose. Which is which? Which is which? Lose or lose? Lose money? Oh, yeah, lose money. Yeah, lose money, right? Lose. This this leg of the table is to, yeah. Lose. Let me check. Lose. Yeah. Exactly. The screws on the chair were loose, and needed to be tightened. And he always seems to lose his keys and spends ages looking for them. Yeah. He's just like me, I guess. Okay, what about raise and rise? Or rise and raise? Which is which? Again. The level of the river is expected to, due to heavy rainfall, the company decided to, your job. It's your job. Okay, I think 3 people agree. 4 people agree here. Okay. Very good. The level of the river is expected to rise on its own, in a way, right? And the company decided to raise the price of its products. Great. Yay! You've done it. Okay, this means you're ready for the next batch. Okay, have a good look. The phonetic transcription shows you something. There's a difference, or is there any difference there? I don't think so. Is there a difference in spelling? Yes, there is. Okay, so it's complement and complement. Complement. So what's the difference between complement and complement? Complement, the first one, is a noun or verb that refers to something that completes or enhances something else, often in a way that creates a harmonious or balanced whole. It can also refer to the full number or quantity of something, or to a group of people who work together effectively. Examples. This blue tie is a great compliment to the gray suit. Okay, so it's a great compliment. Uzupełnienie, dopełnienie. That's compliment number 1. The new employee's skills complemented the existing team's expertise. Okay. All right. So what about complement? The other one. By the way, the first complement can be a noun or a verb, right? The second one can be a noun and a verb too. And it refers to an expression of praise or admiration. And it's often directed at someone's appearance, skills, or achievements. Great job, you people, right? I've just given you a compliment. Yeah, so this is compliment. He complimented her. Be careful. The preposition is interesting and important here. He complimented her on her excellent presentation skills. To compliment someone on something. That's important. Please take a note of that. The coach complimented the team on their hard work and dedication. And I'm in my thoughts, I'm complimenting you on choosing this event to develop your English. Great choice, even though it's a little boring. Okay, sensible and sensitive. Sensible and sensitive. Sensible and sensitive. What's the story here? Sensible. Does it make sense to you? This thing? Sense? Does it make sense? So is it kind of logical? Does it make sense? This is the idea behind the word sensible. If something is sensible, it makes sense. It refers to something that is practical, reasonable, logical. It can also refer to someone who is level-headed and able to make good judgments. Sensible guy. Yeah. She's a sensible person who always thinks before she acts. It's sensible to wear a coat when it's cold outside. So sensible makes sense. Versus sensitive, which is, something like sensitive skin or sensitive subject. It could be about emotions, as you can see here, physical sensations. And in translation, we have a huge difference here in Polish and English, of course. It's sensowny versus delikatny. All right. Sensitive subject, sensitive skin. Okay, I think it's sensible to move on, right? Because we're running out of time. Adapt and adopt. So there's a little difference here, one letter. So the company adopted a new policy or adopted their policy. The company adopted a new policy, the company adapted policy. Both possible. There's a difference here. So if you adapt, it's like, those adapt. Exactly, Alexander. Adapt is when you go to, imagine you go to the UK and there are different electrical sockets there, right? So if you take some appliance with you, like for example, electric guitar, right? You want to plug in, you need an adapter. It changes something to adapt, right? You modify something to fit new circumstances or conditions. So the plant has adapted to survive in the desert environment, adapted. She quickly adapted to the new school and made new friends. What about adopt? Adopt is like, with adoption, right? That's the link you can create in your mind. But it's not only about adopting children or animals, because you can also adopt an animal. You can use it in business-related contexts, like with a policy. The company adopted a new policy, right? So it implemented it, in other words. He adopted a vegan lifestyle to improve his health. The couple decided to adopt a child from a foreign country, right? So a couple of meanings here. This is one of my favorite, mainly because it's very often mistranslated. If you want to say konsekwentny, musi być konsekwentny. A classic mistake is to translate konsekwentny as consequent, which is wrong. It should be consistent. Consistent is an adjective that describes something that is in agreement or in harmony with itself and with other things. It can also refer to something that is reliable or steady in its actions, behavior, or performance, right? Her grades are consistently high. He has been consistently late to work this week. Or if you are a manager or a parent, you have to be consistent with what you say and do, right? That's consistent. Być konsekwentnym. So what about consequent? Consequent, you could think, is related to consequences, right? So Consequent is an adjective that refers to something that is the result or effect of something else. It can refer to something that follows logically or naturally from a previous action or event. The consequent damage, so the damage which happened after, from the hurricane was devastating. The decision to cancel the project had consequent effects on the company's revenue. So, consequence of something, yeah? You see it? Please remember. Okay, time for an exercise. Let's see if you remember the difference between compliment and compliment. Now, this is a joke, right? Because it's going to be the same word. But yes, the difference is that there's a verb and noun in here, right? The wine complemented the meal perfectly. And she received a lot of compliments on her new dress at the party. Okay, so that one was a little joke, but now I'm very serious, and I'm asking you about this. Please use the chat. Make a decision. The company made a decision to invest in new technology. Sensible. Very good. The first one is sensible. Okay, good job. Good job. Sensible decision. It makes sense. And sensitive therapist who listens to his clients and responds with empathy. Thank you. What about this one? Try again. The company had to to reach young customers. The company decided to adopt. True. This is it. Thank you, Agnieszka. Thank you, Kamil. Well done. You adopt a new approach or policy. So you, like I said, implement it and you adapt it, change it later on, for example. Consistent and consequent. Now, the person who gets this one correct is my favorite student today. So who's going to be my favorite student? And you have to get it right, of course. What's the prize for being the best student? A handshake? Oh, I can't give you a handshake. I wish I could. The company's brand message is consistent. Yes, what, Alexandra, right? It was Alexandra? Great. I can see you really want to be my favorite students. All of you are my favorite students today. So congratulations. Thank you. I wish I knew you in person, not just looked at you from the other side. But we'll get to that. If you're not a Worldwide Schools student, you can always become one, and I'll give you some more details on how to do this by the end of the show. Okay, so this is the company's brand message is consistent across all advertising platforms. The consequent action taken by the police was to arrest the suspect. Congrats. And I think this is the last section with continuous and continual. This one is hard, I have to admit. Also because almost every dictionary says that, gives the same translation, which is ciągły, right? So in English, it's more precise because continuous. Now, try to focus. Continuous is an adjective that describes something that is uninterrupted in time, space, or sequence, uninterrupted. It can also refer to something that is ongoing without any breaks or interruptions, like present continuous, the tense, right? Present continuous. The continuous rain caused flooding in the streets. The continuous, it's happening all the time. The car engine made a continuous buzzing sound. It was continuous. That's not a buzzing sound, I think. What about continual? Continual is an adjective that describes something that occurs frequently or repeatedly over time with intervals. It can also refer to something that is ongoing, but with occasional breaks or interruptions. Aha. So you see, English is more precise because in Polish, well, we say, let me look, ciągłe and ciągłe, ustawiczne. Is there a better translation for continual? Happening all the time? So, powtarzalny. You see, maybe, Agnieszka, maybe you should get in touch with PWN Oxford Dictionary, because this is not what and they say, and I think it's one of the best dictionaries available, because I don't think it's there for continual. I wish I could check it now, but double check it. But I don't think it's there. So, point for you. Okay, this is easy, right? Effective versus efficient, but it has to be on the list. Effective refers to something that achieves its intended purpose, desired effect. Skuteczny, right? Effective leader, effective treatment. You can see the effects, results, right? Versus efficient. Well, sometimes one thing can be both, right? Effective and efficient. But efficient means this: saving time, energy, resources, So, for example, you can be an efficient employee, right? Because your time management skills are so great, but also an effective one. The new manufacturing process is much more efficient and has reduced production time by 30%. The company is looking for ways to become more efficient in order to reduce costs. Easy. But this one could be a surprise. I hope it is. Have a look. Okay, the second one is easy, right? It's genius. And the first one is genial. What's genial? And is it related to exceptional intelligence? Was Albert Einstein a genial person and a genius? Let's see. I mean, I can't tell because I don't know what he was like, but he might have been genial. And it wouldn't mean that he was, that he had a super brain. Because genial refers to someone who is friendly, cheerful, and pleasant to be around. Okay? Pleasant, cheerful, and friendly. That's genial. It can also refer to something that is mild or gentle in nature. The translation would be sympatyczne, miłe. Sympatyczne, miłe, right? The weather was genial. The weather was genial, with warm sunshine and light breeze. Genialnie. Genialna pogoda. Maybe something like this, right? There's nothing, there's no, in Polish we say genialna pogoda. Maybe this is it. Yeah, maybe that's related. The restaurant has a genial atmosphere and serves delicious food, but he's a genial person, That's also what it means. And a genius is a genius, right? Albert Einstein was a genius. By the way, German-sounding names in English, just like Einstein or Stein, which in German would be Stein or Einstein, right? The English pronunciation is different. I don't know if you knew that. So it's Einstein and Stein. But that's the subject matter of this webinar. I'm just looking. It's It's ingenious, ingenious, and the second one is ingenuous, ingenuous, ingenious and ingenuous. I bet you've heard the first one. The second one is not very popular, but it is used. So let's see. Ingenious refers to something or someone which is clever, creative, inventive in finding solutions, problems. It can also refer to a cleverly designed or executed something. So the inventor was praised for his ingenious solution to the problem of pollution. The artist's paintings are admired for their ingenious use of color and composition. Ingenious. Ah, what an ingenious idea. And ingenuous, that's going to be a big surprise for you, refers to someone who is innocent, naive, or sincere, or who is open and frank about their thoughts or feelings. It can also refer to something that is genuine or sincere. His ingenuous smile and friendly behavior made him popular with everyone. She gave an ingenuous account of what had happened without trying to hide anything. So what's the translation here? Prostoduszny versus genialny, right? Ingenious versus ingenuous. Okay, I have to hurry up. Negligible versus negligent. Negligent and negligible. Negligible, they are both related to the word neglect. Zaniedbanie. So negligible is an adjective that means so small or unimportant as to be not worth considering or not worth of notice. It's negligible. This slide is negligible. It is often used to describe something that is insignificant or inconsequential. The impact of the new regulations on the industry was negligible, and there was no significant change in business practices, or the risk of adverse, so negative, effects of the medication was negligible, and the doctor recommended it to the patient. So negligible, that's nieistotne, right? Negligible. While negligent is an adjective that means failing to take proper care, like zaniedbanie, neglect, in doing something. So often resulting in harm or damage. It is often used to describe someone who has been careless or reckless in their situation. The driver was found to be negligent in the accident and caused several injuries. The doctor was accused of negligent treatment of his patients. The teacher was accused of negligent treatment of his subject matter. I hope you won't accuse me of negligent treatment of the confusing pairs today. Just two last ones, and I'll let you go. Percentage. Okay, percent. That's one of my favorite, by the way. Examples of such confusing pairs. Percent is a noun that refers to a proportion, the symbol of percent, right? So you say the recipe calls for 70% dark chocolate, or 75% of people, blah, 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 right? What's the interest rate? 75%. In Polish, we use the same word, procent, 70% czegoś tam, right? 70% of something. A jaki procent ludzi something, right? That's percentage. Percentage refers to a proportion or rate per 100. It is used to describe percentage of a whole or total. So the percentage of students who passed the exam was 80%. Was 80%. Yeah, the percentage of students was 80%. This is how you use it. The percentage of the budget allocated to research is 15%. So don't say percent instead of percentage, right? So what's the percent of students? That's wrong. Yeah. What's the percent of people? No. What's the percentage of people? And yeah, that's what Setek. Yeah. And let me finish with I forgot to create a nice slide here. So this is not going to be a big mystery, but I just wanted to let you know. that there is a big difference between home office and home working. Aha. So, this could be something quite important for some of you, because there are so many people saying that they are doing their home office, instead of home working. Home office also means Ministerstwo Spraw Wewnętrznych, but that's something else. So what is home office? Home office refers to a specific room or area in a home which is designated for business purposes. Home office, right? This could be a spare bedroom, or a dedicated workspace in the living room or kitchen. The term home office, so it's a room, right? Implies a more formal setup where a person has a designated space and set working hours. So I have a home office where I do all the work during regular business hours, or I need to set up a home office so that I can work more efficiently. Yes, and avoid distractions. So setting up a home office. So a home office is just a place. Yeah. And home working. Home working refers to a broader concept of working from home, regardless of whether or not there is a specific designated workplace. See? It can include working from a laptop on the couch. Maybe you're in this situation right now. Or even working outside on a patio. Home working can be more informal, allowing for greater flexibility in terms of when and where you do the work. So, what is your case? And have a look at the examples, how home working goes with verbs. I've been home working, it's a verb. You cannot say I was home officing, but you can say I've been home working since the pandemic started. And I've found that I'm more productive when I can choose where I work from. My employer allows us to do some home working, blah, blah, blah. Can you see the difference? Yeah. I'm predicting a question. What about remote work? Yes, of course, you can say I'm working remotely, or I work remotely. Remote work, yes, it's also used. Okay, final questions. Get your fingertips ready for continual and continuous. Which is which? The company operates on a production schedule. The computer program ran into... What do you think? What's this? Error. The sound is continual, right? So the second one is continual. The first one is continuous. Sure. Thank you very much. What about effective, efficient? Effective to chyba też w sensie ważny od, na przykład effective today. Yes, of course. Ważne, but that's a different meaning. Don't blame me or Worldwide School for so many meanings of English words. The only person to blame, we talked about this person, is William the Conqueror, or Harold II, who lost the battle, right? All the problems with English vocabulary go back to this point in history. So what's this? Effective, efficient? Let me see. The new advertising campaign was very effective in increasing sales. She was very efficient with her time. Yes. What about genius and genial? Albert Einstein was a genial genius, right? I don't know, maybe. He seemed to be a genial genius. A genial personality, yes. A stroke of genius to revolutionize the industry. What about ingenious and ingenuous? Ingenuous. Which is which? The new app is an to simplify daily tasks and save time. What do you think? I'm waiting. I'm waiting. You're typing. Ingenious. Oh, good spelling. Some of you. Yes, ingenious way. Sorry, ingenious way and ingenuous style. So the letter was written in an ingenuous style with no attempts to deceive or mislead. Just to remind you, ingenuous means prostoduszny, naive, negligible and negligent. What's this? The difference in price between the two products was negligent or negligible? Negligent or negligible? Negligible and negligent. Good, Alexandra and Agnieszka. Yes, very good. The difference in prices was negligible. The company was sued for negligent behavior, so they didn't do something, right? Okay, that's the last but one. We're almost done. The interest rate on the loan is 5% per year? No. 5% per year. The percentage of women in the workforce has increased in recent years. So I guess the last one, think about this, okay? I do home office from Monday to Wednesday, and the rest of the week I go to the office. The company can monitor and check your home office. Okay, I agree. I do home working from Monday to Wednesday, and the rest of the week I work at the office. The company can monitor and check your home office work conditions. Remember about this, folks, right? They can send an HNS guy with a breathalyzer to check your sobriety. Yeah, I guess that's it for today. Thank you very much. Excellent participation, by the way. So nice work. You've passed the confusing pairs test. Thank you very much for being here. You're with Worldwide School, by the way. So that's what I was referring to. You're here with me. I work for Worldwide School. We have excellent teachers. We do. You can be one of our students, by the way. So maybe you know about it. But if you're not, we do language training for corporations. We've been doing that for 30 years, more than 30 years. And we started doing virtual classrooms much before pandemic, like 12 or 13 years ago. So if you want to try a lesson with us, just go to www.worldwideschool.pl. There's a forum, and if you're one of our students, let me just say hello, and I wish you join us for the next webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you. You'll get a PDF with the list of the words soon. So enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. See ya.